everyone, this is Vanessa. Welcome to Collide Student Ministry Online. This is Wednesday Night Live. We hope that you have had a great week and we are excited that you are joining us. First, we would like to let you know that we are giving away a free DoorDash order at the end of broadcast. In order to enter, you need to like and comment before the video ends. We will announce the winner in the comment section at the end of broadcast, so stay tuned and good luck. Second, we want you to join us for small groups on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and our student classes on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. All the information you need is emailed out in our newsletter each week, so check it out and let us know if you need help getting in. Thank you all for joining us. We're glad you are here. Remember to like and comment for a chance to win the prize and share this video to help others see it.
This game is called Code Breakers, and we're going to show 3 clues that you're going to have to solve to find 3 numbers that are going to open up the lock. So we need to be code breakers to solve the riddle, use our best skills to figure out what the 3 numbers are. Here we go. Our very first code, number 1, the number of colors in a rainbow, then the number of Snow White's dwarves, and now the number of nickels in a dime. So write the answer in the comment section. It's a 3-digit code. Daniel, you think you got it?
I think so.
What do you got?
7.
7 colors in a rainbow.
Yep.
7 dwarves.
And then 2 nickels.
2. All right, yeah. And the answer is 772. So there you go, Daniel. Great job. You guys at home continue. I think these are going to get a little bit harder, so good luck. You ready?
Good luck.
Next one. The number of Earth's moons. There's the ones you don't know.
That's a tough one.
There's the ones you don't know about. The number of members in BTS.
Oh, man.
And then the number of inches in half of a foot. Okay, so let's break this down. There's only one moon, right?
I think so. Unless something changed.
I have no idea the number of members in BTS. It's either 4 or 5, right? You can't have like a band with more. NSYNC was 4.
I want to say 7. I know it's quite a bit because my daughter likes this.
7?
Likes this band.
NSYNC was 4. The Backstreet Boys was 4.
But this is a Korean pop band.
Okay.
EXO had at one point like 18 members.
So we're saying 1, 7, and then the number of inches in half a foot? 6. So we're saying 176.
Oh,
hey!
yes!
176. Okay. Learn something new. Here we go. On to the next one. The number of Harry Potter movies, the number of sides on a pentagon, and the freezing temperature of water in Celsius. Wow. Okay. So the number of Harry Potter movies,
I have no idea.
Not
a clue.
I think it's 8.
You
think it's 8? Because there was 2. The last one was a double. Like a part 1, part 2. So were there 7 books and then, was it 7 books or? I'm going to say 8. That's my best guess. The number of sides on a pentagon is 5. And the freezing temperature of water in Celsius is 0, right? Yep. So 850?
Sounds like it.
Hey, we're geniuses! All right, let's keep rolling. Okay. The number of lines in a haiku poem. I know that haiku is poetry. The number of lines in a haiku.
I didn't do very good in that class.
The number of horns on a unicorn.
How about a normal?
And the number of strands in DNA.
What?
See, now I'm confused because I feel like, okay. The number of lines in a haiku, I'm pretty sure is 3. I think it's 3.
That sounds right.
Alicia says no. You think it's higher? What do you think it is? Alicia's back behind camera. She says she's holding up 4 fingers in one hand and 1 finger.
14?
Another way of doing this is 5. Are you saying, 14? I thought you were saying 4 and 1. Like,
4 plus 1 is
how old are
5.
you? I'm 2. I'm 2 years old. 14. Okay, so
it's got to be a single digit.
Well, that's what but the number of strands in DNA, I thought it was 23. That's how many chromosomes. Guys, it's been a minute since. Okay, so we're saying I'm going with 3.
I'll go with 3.
1 for unicorn.
Right.
And then strands in DNA. It's 2, right?
I think there are 8 lines in a haiku.
8? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just settle this. We're gonna go. Let's lock in an answer.
8-1.
8-1-2.
2.
Two strands.
Oh, yeah.
8-1-2.
Oh!
It was 3. A haiku is 3.
That doesn't make any sense.
All right, you guys, let's keep rolling. The number of Amazon rivers.
Oh, man.
The number of kidneys typically in a human body. And the number of Olsen twins. All right, so there's just the Amazon River, right?
I think. I don't know if any others.
And then typically you have 2 kidneys?
2.
And then twins means 2, right?
Yep.
No,
Last I checked.
There's that third twin. There's the third.
Yeah, they do have a sister.
One Olsen twins, you know? There could be multiple Olsen twins.
Well, there's the one Olsen sister that's in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Does
She's
she
younger.
have a twin?
I don't think so.
So the number of
is it-
Olsen twins has to be 2.
But is it asking for
I was definitely 2.
sets? Like how
Oh
many
yeah, how
sets?
many sets of twins are there?
Or is it asking
People
individual?
Guys, breaking codes is hard.
Oh my
People
gosh.
click out
I'm gonna get a
because they're
headache.
like, y'all are twins.
Okay, so 1 river,
Overeat.
2 kidneys, 2 twins.
Sounds good to me.
Wait.
1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2.
Yeah, all right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You said it made me think there was only one pair of twins.
Yeah, well, I don't know. All right, last one. The number of European countries. The number of European countries south of the equator. What? The number of Toy Story movies. Okay. And the number of planets in the solar system. Oh man. Okay, is Pluto a planet? Okay. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there are 0 European countries south of the equator.
I don't know of any. I don't think
Because
there is.
Europe's like up here. So there couldn't be. The number of Toy Story movies is 4. Because that's the last movie that came out was Toy Story 4.
And they were rude to Pluto. Pluto is not a planet anymore, it's a dwarf planet.
Alright, so if Pluto is not a planet, then that takes us either from 8 to 7 or from 9 to 8. Which, if anybody cares, I think that Pluto's a planet.
Yeah.
And I think they did.
That's what I was taught.
They did Pluto wrong.
They just excluded him one day.
It's not
So
fair.
we're going with 0, 4,
Yep.
and number of planets in the solar system
8.
8?
Yeah, let's go with 8.
0, 4, 8. Let's
Go!
go! Victory.
Nice.
Victory.
Yay, Andrew!
Take 4.
Yay! Yay! Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to week 3 of our series called Exiles. So, this kind of brings us through as the story moves on, and I mentioned last week that this is going to become a crazier and crazier story, and so welcome to week 3. We're going to start our very first really insane story of Daniel and the exiles in Babylon. So Daniel and his friends, when they stood up for what was right last week, they were rewarded. They were rewarded and acknowledged for their wisdom and their bravery, and they basically get like top of the class when they're kind of in like this Babylonian school, and everything's going really well for them. Daniel, in all of his wisdom, him and his friends, they become now like apprentices or like young kind of junior associates in the council of the wise men. So the Babylonians had a lot of really smart, kind of like back in the day scientists and astrologers, people that would like measure and chart the stars, early mathematicians. And so Daniel and his friends were kind of in this group of wise men who would give, they'd give good counsel to the king. When the king had questions, like they could kind of solve problems and figure things out. I'm kind of curious, I know we're kind of back in school. What is if you guys type it in the comment section or write it on your phone, what is your favorite subject in school? So Daniel and his friends, they probably would have been like either math, physics, astronomy, maybe philosophy. Like that would kind of be where they went like really, really hardcore and were really good at it. But what about you? Like what's your favorite subject in school, or your couple favorite subjects where you're like, I really like this and I enjoy it? They did really, really well in these subjects. They kind of get brought in because of their wisdom, because of the things that they're good at, to be a part of the council of the wise men. And here's where we get one of our stories where everything goes really, really, really wrong for Daniel and his friends. So they are under the ruler and authority of the king of Babylon. And one day, the king of Babylon has a really, really crazy dream. Like, have you ever had a dream where you wake up and you're freaking out about something? Like, you're just like, I don't know about you. Sometimes I have a dream, I don't even remember what it is, but I like wake up and like my heart's racing and I like don't know why, but I know I just had a really crazy dream. Sometimes I've had like really, really vivid dreams before where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I have to tell Emily, I have to tell somebody about this dream because I've got this really crystal clear image in my head of what it was. How would you guys describe, here's another opportunity, please comment along with us. How would you describe your dreams? Like, are your dreams silly? Are they scary? Are they weird? Are you like a hero? Like, do you like fight monsters in your dreams? I remember I had this really crystal clear dream that I was being chased by velociraptors in an Ace Hardware store. And we were like about to get eaten, but then we realized that velociraptors don't like orange parking cones. And as long as we made a circle of orange parking cones around us, then the velociraptors wouldn't eat us. I think it's because I watched an episode of SpongeBob with sea bears. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. If you draw a circle, then a sea bear won't get you. Anyway, those are like some of my dreams. They're usually really strange, but a lot of fun. So what are your dreams like? All right, so the king of Babylon is having a crazy dream and he's extremely upset. And we're looking in the book of Daniel in the Bible. We're in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, starting in the beginning of verse 1. It says, one night, King Nebuchadnezzar had such a disturbing dream that he couldn't sleep. He called in all of his wise men, the magicians, the enchanters, the sorcerers, the astrologers, and he demanded that they explained what the dream meant. So he had this crazy, crazy dream, and he doesn't understand what it means. But man, he's really, really bothered. He can't go back to bed. He's freaking out. And so they stood before the king, all of these, again, magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers. These are all the people the king is like, you have the answers to my problem. You can solve this. So what does it mean? Verse 4, the astrologers answered, long live the king. We love you, dude. Tell us of your dream, and then we'll tell you what it means. So you tell us what your dream is, and then we can explain it to you. We're smart guys. We're really wise. If you tell us what your dream is, then we'll tell you what it means. But in verse 5, the king said to the astrologers, I'm serious about this. If you don't tell me what my dream was and tell me what it means, you will be torn limb from limb. Your houses will be turned into heaps of rubble. But if you tell me what I dreamed of, and if you tell me what the dream means, then I'll give you my many wonderful gifts and honors. Just tell me what the dream is and what it means. Okay, so I have to think sometimes of like people that are, you know, really, really into astrology and just kind of this whole idea of like, hey, I was born in January, so that means I'm this kind of zodiac symbol, and that means that I'm more likely to, you know, be whatever. You know, what's interesting is like all I need to know is your birthday, and then I can act like I know a lot of stuff about you. And I'm not fully trying to trash zodiac symbols and signs, but I kind of am. You guys, like, there's kind of a reality that people, when they want to impress you, if I can, it's almost like a magic trick. If I can learn just a little bit about you, then I could probably guess a few other things. So these guys are like, oh, King, we can tell you exactly what your dream means, but you got to tell us what the dream is. And so if I like found out what the dream is, then I could probably put the pieces together. But the king knows these guys. Honestly, I think deep down inside, he kind of knows they're full of it. And he's like, no. You tell me what the dream is and then tell me exactly what it means, or I'm going to destroy you. Like, could you imagine? Like, I can't even think of an equivalent. You guys, we don't live in a world like this. And I know sometimes we think that our leaders and rulers are one thing or another, but we don't live in Babylon. And I couldn't imagine, like, could you guys imagine your teacher being like, I'm going to give you a pop quiz and I'm not going to tell you what the questions are. You just need to tell me all the right answers, right? Like, can you imagine if you get like an exam and they're like, all right, this is worth your entire grade for the school year. You have to tell me the right answer, but you don't even know what the question is. Oh yeah, and we'll burn your house down if you get it wrong. Like, could you imagine that kind of pressure? These guys have to be sweating and freaking out because they're like, all right, here. So again, in verse 7, they said, again, please, your majesty, just tell us the dream and we would be happy. We will tell you what it means. So they've asked a second time, King, could you just tell me what the dream is? And then I can tell you what it means. But the king replied, he's very firm. He says, I know what you're doing. You're stalling for time because you know that I'm serious when I say that you, in verse 9, if you don't tell me the dream, you are doomed, and I mean it. So you have conspired to tell me lies, hoping that I've changed my mind. But tell me the dream, and then I'll know that you can tell me what it means. So like, he needs to know what this dream means. And the only way he can believe them is if they tell him what the dream was and then tell him what it means. So if they just say what the meaning is, they might be making it up, and they probably are making it up because they don't know. But if you tell me what the dream is without me telling you first, then I know you're legit. So the astrologers finally replied. They said, King, no one on earth can tell the king his dream. No king, however great and powerful, right? Nobody has ever asked us to do this before. Like, some of us, I'm sure some of these guys are like really old, like they've been growing these long white beards and like they're super smart, or they say they're super smart. They're like, no king before has ever asked us to do this. Nobody could possibly do this. No magician, enchanter, astrologer. King, what you're demanding is impossible. No one except the gods could tell you your dream, and they do not live here among the people. So they're being a little sassy. They're like, only the gods could tell you, but they're not here, man. So you just got us. We're human. And verse 12, the king was furious when he heard this. So he ordered all of the wise men of Babylon to be executed. Have you guys ever been around somebody that overreacts? Have you ever been around somebody that's really dramatic? I can't understand this king's rage. I mean, other than this dream must have really, really, really upset him, because he's so over this. He's like, fine, you guys can't do this. You're all dead. I'm going to execute all of you. All right. So in verse 13, and because of the king's decree, he ordered that all the wise men in Babylon be executed. Verse 12, verse 13, because of that, Men were sent to find and kill Daniel and his friends, who like literally just graduated from school and just got assigned to be wise men. So like, it's like literally like, I just like, hey, congratulations, here's your high school diploma. And then, oh, actually, hey, can you come back here? Now we have to kill you now. Like, it's the worst timing ever. And it's like, I couldn't imagine, again, Daniel and his friends, they've been kidnapped, taken to Babylon. They're just trying to figure it out because I know who I am. I know who God is. But man, life is not easy right now. I made it through school and I've been assigned to be a wise man. Wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, wait, what? They went to kill all the wise men? Okay, I should have become like a shoemaker or something. But this is the situation they're in. So Arioch, a good guy, he's one of the commander of the king's guards. He's a big fan of Daniel, and he's talking with them, and he's realizing that Daniel is showing a lot of wisdom. And Daniel asked Arioch in verse 15, why is the king being so harsh? Daniel and his friends weren't there. They're not a part of this conversation. They didn't hear the whole back and forth between the wise men and the king. They just know that now they have to die. So they're like, what happened? So long story short, we're going to kind of pull this together. Arioch explains to Daniel, the king had a dream. He's demanded that the wise men tell him what the dream was and what it means, or you all have to die. So Daniel and his friends get together, and Daniel asked them to pray. In verse 17, he went home and told his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, remember those names from last week, he urged them to pray and ask God to show him mercy by telling him the secret, so that they would not be executed along with the other wise men of Babylon. And that night, the secret was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heaven. There's a couple things we want to look at here, just kind of a quick pause. Daniel and his friends were just as helpless as everybody else. The astrologers are probably looking up to the stars and thinking, oh, okay, well, that star is super bright and Venus is over there, so that means I have no idea what I'm talking about. And the enchanters probably went and like threw some potions into a cauldron, stirred it up, and they're like, this doesn't mean anything. This is hot garbage. And, so Daniel and his friends are like, we don't know. Like, I'm just Daniel. What am I supposed to do in this situation? Except Daniel knows who God is. And then Daniel knows who he is. And what's his response to that is that he and his friends go and they pray to God for the answer. They know that I don't have all the answers to this problem. I don't have the ability to save the world and answer this riddle all by myself, but I know who does. I know who does have the power and the goodness and the kindness to help. I'm going to go to that person. Everybody else is looking to their own wisdom, their own power, their own stars and magic and whatever else. Daniel knows who God is, and he knows that he has a relationship with God, so that's where he goes for his answer. And God reveals the secret to Daniel, and Daniel praises him. To kind of sum it all up, Daniel goes to the king and says, I know what your dream is, and I know how to interpret it. And then he explains the dream to the king and then tells him exactly what it means. And I encourage you guys, read Daniel chapter 2. Read the whole thing because it's insane. And I think you'll love reading this king because he really is a crazy person. And we'll get some more awesome, crazy King Nebuchadnezzar stories. But Daniel goes, he's like, I got it. I know the answer. God showed me the answer. And here it is. The king threw himself down. This is now verse 46 at the bottom of the chapter. King Nebuchadnezzar threw himself down before Daniel and worshiped him. And he commanded all the people around to offer sacrifices and burn sweet incense before Daniel. The king said to Daniel, truly your God is the greatest of gods, the Lord over kings, a revealer of mysteries, for you have been able to reveal this secret. Then the king appointed Daniel to a high position and gave him many valuable gifts. He made Daniel ruler over the whole province of Babylon, as well as a chief over all of his wise men. At Daniel's request, the king also appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which those are the Babylonian names for Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. He appointed them to be in charge of the affairs over the whole province of Babylon, while Daniel remained working in the king's court. You guys, things worked out for Daniel here, but don't miss the big point, is that it wasn't because of Daniel's smartness. It wasn't because he has all the answers. It wasn't because Daniel's perfect. Daniel went to God and fully trusted in God, fully relied on God for this situation in his life. And because of his faith, other people worshiped God, and Daniel got to enjoy the benefits of that. It wasn't, again, everybody else had the same opportunity as Daniel. Any wise man, any astrologer, astronomer, magician, anybody could have been the hero. Daniel's not the hero of the story, and he knows that. God is the hero of the story. Daniel points to God as the hero of the story. And because of Daniel's faith, the king of Babylon worships God. Yes, he worships Daniel, and he orders everybody else to give Daniel cool stuff. I kind of imagine like the king just looking around, is like, you give Daniel your shoes, you give Daniel your lunch, you give Daniel your car. They didn't have cars, but if they did, the king would have made that guy give Daniel his car. But the point was, Daniel let God be the hero, because God is the hero of this story. It wasn't about him. I got everything right. I do everything right. I know everything. It's who is God and who am I? And then how can that change the world? And Daniel's faith, not only, yes, he got promoted, but Daniel's faith led the king of Babylon, who was just about to kill everybody, to bow down and worship God and acknowledge that your God is the greatest of gods, Lord of all kings, revealer of mysteries. And this is a moment where we get to reflect. When you and I live in faith, when we face a challenging moment where we don't have all the answers, we don't have all the power, we don't have all the strength, when we acknowledge that it's okay not to know everything, not to have everything perfect, not to have all the strength all the time, when we acknowledge that and then say, God, will you provide the answers? Will you provide the power? Will you provide the strength? That faith will inspire and impress other people, not for our sake, but for God's glory. The people will look at you and watch your life and think, wow, if Matt can only do things that Matt can do by himself, that's not that great. I can juggle 3 things at a time. I could probably run a 15-minute mile, and sometimes, you know, I can make a pretty good grilled cheese sandwich. And whatever, all the things that, what's the most I can do all by myself? Not a lot. But what can you and I do through God who gives us strength, through God who gives us wisdom, so that people will not just appreciate us, because it's not our strength, it's not our wisdom, but our faith in God will lead other people to witness and see the goodness and the greatness and the love of God. So as you and I go out through this week, we have the opportunity to live in faith. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to be a part of the future, but I know who God is. So God, will you be a part of my future? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in school, but God is there. So God, will you be a part of this with me? As I and you together live every day through faith, people will be inspired. People will be impressed, and we'll make an impression of who God is through the way that we point back to God through our good and our hard times. You guys, we are so excited to continue this story, and it does leave off with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they're kind of the main characters next week to an even crazier story. We hope you join us next week, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We love you all. We'll talk to you later.